They're like, I need you to empty all your pockets and take off your shoes. They found the pocket knife and the lighter, of course. They also ended up calling the sheriff in, so the sheriff was there while I was doing all this. The sheriff starts inspecting the lighter, starts inspecting the shoes, starts inspecting the pocket knife. He figures out that one of the blades has residue on it. It still had like small smears of black gunk on the blade. So he's like, I need to test this. I'm like, why? Like, it's nothing. I was like, what? He's like, oh, I need to test this to see if it comes back positive. In my head, I'm like, of course it's gonna come back positive. What am I gonna do, bitch? Like, what? Like, oh my God. After they find all these things, they're like, okay, we have to move you to the sheriff's office while we wait on canine units to arrive so that we can search you and okay you to leave the campus. We have to make sure that you don't have anything on your being that you're not supposed to have in school. Now the dog is coming. Guess what the dog is gonna alert? The titties. The dog's gonna sniff the titties. That dog's gonna snitch. That dog's gonna take a seat. That dog's gonna smell the titties and take a seat. I'm going to jail. Immediately, my fuckboy senses kick in, and I'm like, how the fuck can I lie myself out of this situation so I can save my ass? Right? I think intelligently. This is probably the most appreciative time that I've ever been at the fact that I used to be a girl. Like, this was literally like the only time where I was like, damn, I'm glad that I really am a girl right now. So while I'm sitting in the sheriff's office waiting for the canine units to come end my life, I get the bright idea of, let me tell the sheriff officer that I have my period and I need pads and I need to go to the bathroom right now because I didn't bring a bag. I don't have anything on me. Immediately as I said that, he freaks out. He's like, oh, let me call the principal. We have a situation here. And he tells them my situation. So I'm like, okay, cool. They're bringing me pads. And I'm like, so what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do when I get to the bathroom? Am I going to be alone when I get to the bathroom? Are they actually going to leave me alone in the bathroom? What if they don't leave me alone in the bathroom? How am I going to get away with, like, doing whatever I need to do to save my ass? While all this is going on, they're also reviewing cameras to see if I actually didn't come to campus with a bag, because somebody said that I definitely had to come on campus with a bag because they always seen me with a bag. Just because I always had a tiny black backpack, it seems suspicious that I didn't have it at the moment that they had detained me. Finally, the principal comes back and she has 2 pads in her hands. She's like, oh, here you go, and come to the bathroom with me. And so she walks ahead of me and we walk around the corner to the bathroom that was literally right next to the sheriff's office. She's like, okay, go ahead. And she lets me walk into the bathroom first and she closes the door behind me. So I'm like, what? You're gonna leave me in the bathroom alone? I don't know if maybe she was trying to look out for me. Maybe she was, she remembers that she used to be young at one point and she did it too. When I tell you that she left me alone in the bathroom to get rid of evidence, bro, let me tell you, son, like, oh my God, I was praying to the gods, bro. I believed that day because, son, I was going to prison that day, F court, that day. I'm like, okay, quick thinking, what can I do? How can I get rid of this bowl? They already got the lighter and the pocket knife. I can't do anything about that, but the bowl, it still has residue, a whole bunch of residue on it, chunks of weed flown up all in it, that flown up in it. Like, what am I going to do with the bowl? So I'm like, smash it. Okay, but if I smash it on the floor, there's going to be glass everywhere. Can't do that. Got the pads. What can I do? Stick the fucking bowl in the pad, close that bitch back up, and stomp the fuck out of it. Like, I was like, I had issues with that pad. That pad hurt my mama. That pad, like, did me wrong. That pad just, like, hurt my life. Like, I stepped on that pad like no motherfucking tomorrow. I was saving my ass that day, son. And when I opened it back up, that shit was dust. And you know what I did? Broop, right into the toilet and flush. Evidence gone, life saved, pad in the trash, no mother effing problems. Nothing. Not going to jail today. You're not taking me, bro. After I did that, they walked me back into the sheriff's office, and I sat there like a king. We're waiting for canines. Are they here yet? Are the canines here yet? Is that the canine? No? Oh, that's your wife? Sorry. Are they here? I am waiting. Where are the dogs at? Woof, woof. Where are the dogs? Before the dogs got there, they were like, we're going to move you to the principal's office because we're going to wait on your mom to get here so that she can take you home, depending on what happens when the canines get here. I walk over to the principal's office. I'm sitting there after my mom arrives, and she's sitting all the way across. Shortly after, canine arrives. The canine searches me. Canine didn't alert for me because my genius self saved my ass. I don't know what I would have done. I'm a genius. Like, honestly, I'm a genius. I think of things like, wow. Like, wow. They spoke to my mom. They spoke to me. They asked her if she'd be okay with taking me home that day. She was like, you're really not going to take him in and arrest him today? They're like, no, there's nothing we can do today. We have to investigate. Other than that, you have to take him home while we investigate and proceed with charges. My mom would do anything in her power to try to get me to go to prison, to get me arrested, to get me with a record, but it never, ever, ever happened. I'm such a lucky person. I'm such a lucky man when it comes to this, because I don't think if I was anybody else, if my dad was anybody else, that I would have gotten away with what I did or what I have in my life. When I got home, getting home was like opening the door to Katrina. Like, when I got home, I walked into the house. The house seemed like it was fine. When I got into the room, my personal room, it was trashed. They found everything. They found a whole bunch of stuff. That was what mostly pissed me off. Y'all just gonna come up in somebody's house, destroy it, and then leave, like, deal with it? You clean it up? I never understood that part from raids. I don't understand how you walk up into somebody's house, search through everything, see stuff, throw stuff around, and then you don't have to clean it up. That makes no sense. Like, it's crazy. Shortly in the upcoming weeks after that, detective showed up at my house. Investigation went forward. I got served. I got my first court date. Before all this even happened, what happened with school, because of all this happening, the school got involved and they knew everything. I was kicked out of school for the last 2 weeks. I was not allowed to walk, and I was not allowed to show up or be there in the audience. I would still get my diploma. I just wouldn't be able to go pick it up. I'd have to have the diploma mailed to me. Out of everything that happened, that was literally the most hurtful thing. The last couple of months of high school were so important to me, especially the last 2 weeks of school, where you experience the last time where you're gonna be every day on a schedule, seeing your friends that you grew up with before you go and tackle life and end up separating and living your own best lives in your own ways and creating your own stories and memories separate from each other. When I went to court, all of those 4 felonies and 2 misdemeanors added up to 23 years. So as she's reading my charges, what time is attached to that charge, I'm like, what? Really? For that? Me? Are you serious? I'm looking at my dad, and he's looking at me. 23 years? This lady literally just said 23 years. I'm 17. That means I'll be 41 when I get out. My dad, if it wasn't for he being who he is and him knowing the people that he knows, I wouldn't be here today with you guys. They wanted to put me in adult court and charge me sooner than later. I was able to avoid 23 years. Me graduating high school, I was avoiding going to prison for 23 years at the age of 17 years old. My 18th birthday was the worst birthday of my life. All I can say is, I'm glad that I survived that. There's so much backstory to it. Like, it really just needs a movie. It needs a book. There's so much backstory to it, and I don't want to keep running time. And I literally could be here telling you all the backstory for hours. It's such a long, big story with so many other factors. I'm 23 years old, but when I talk about my life, I feel like I'm 50. And if you think this story is crazy, drop a comment, drop a like, please share with your friends, share with your family, take your phones, take it to your mom, be like, hey, listen to this crazy ass dude. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all your input. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate all your messages, all your love. All right, guys, I gotta go, but stay tuned for more content.
So you wanna play with magic? Boy, you should know what you're falling for.